Somebody else's vision to life. It's amazing.
Somewhere. That's what this is.
I might have to go.
He double clicks things. Things go places. We don't know where they go.
Yeah.
Are they in the virtual box? Are they in the real computer? Who knows?
Do you use this computer for anything else other than demo disc?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Basically everything.
Oh God.
Fury 3. There we go. Oh. There we go.
Hey.
Okay.
Whoa, okay.
Oh wow. Wait. It works. Listen to that clean audio.
Cool 3D graphics.
Death Unk.
Just get your mission there.
Blasted right past
I know what I'm doing. I'm in.
Oh, it's like F-Zero.
Cool.
This is before Watson. Yeah, you got these arrow keys.
Look at your map up there on the upper right, Adam.
Whoa.
Different HUDs.
That's cool.
I want to be immersed.
Kill it. Yes.
Those are just birds, aren't they?
Or passenger airplanes.
Nice job.
There you go.
I can't believe we got a game to work.
Hey, this is
Insanity.
This holds up pretty well.
Whoa, Jesus!
Thanos.
The crazy thing is, this demo disc is from 1995, which means this disc is 25 years old.
Yeah.
Which is older than the average Achievement Hunter fan.
Right?
And half the age of the average Funhouse fan.
Oh,
Oh,
got it.
sweet. Get the Super Soaker.
I can't.
Turbo!
Oh, your throttle went up.
Oh, help. Oh, God. Oh, what have you done?
You know how Top Gun is all about, Tom Cruise. You go too fast, you're too reckless. He gets back to base and they go like, you gotta take more risks out there, kid. No, I'm not putting my co-pilot at risk. Did I get shot down at all, boss? No, I guess not, but...
How's the landing gear? Fine.
I have a nephew who is 6, and I think he's programmed games more intricate than this.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
yeah, I mean, you
La-di-da.
does all the work for you.
I would wager that the average 6-year-old today knows more about computers than anyone in the room.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But
Because
games
they
like,
were raised by an iPad.
yeah, I mean, games like Fury 3 paved the way for that little shit to make games.
That's true.
I don't know nothing about them, but I hate them.
The wedding was really awkward when my sister married that iPad, so...
Yeah. I love you.
Your objective is destroy target. You're going away from it, Adam.
Am I?
Shit, there you go.
Whoa, there we are.
It is fast.
Whoa, oh, no.
And,
Oh, no. Oh, you're close. You're
Yeah,
within...
these are the targets.
You're,
Holy
you're
shit.
60. Oh, kill it.
Make a
Slow
try.
down.
I guess.
Maverick, calm yourself.
X. Look at that desert
Oh,
city.
man.
Oh, it's getting too wild out here. Whoop.
Oh, there you go. You did it. Whoa, now you're going too fast.
That was real fast.
Your weapon is
That's
turned. Oh, you skipped over their house.
Zero, zero. Going above the clouds, boss.
Wow, you can actually
Whoa.
go above the clouds. You're like Batman.
Yeah.
Look at your little map. You got pluses you need to probably
I
destroy.
cannot see what those are, Jack. Am I supposed to shoot
You're
the
past
rocks?
them.
Boom.
Was that one of them?
Oh.
Boom.
Did you get one?
Maybe this is my base?
You're home.
Probably. Yeah.
Target destroyed!
Done.
Did I win?
You won.
Yes. Turn it off.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Alright.
That was a game.
That was a good day.
You got
The
one.
music sounded great.
Entombment.
Resolution looked good. We're gonna try another one, huh?
Entombment.
You never know when to leave the casino, do you? That's installing.
Slowly.
Oh,
Is that an installer?
Yeah. Look at it spinning backwards for some reason.
there we go. Episode 1. Wait.
Has not detected a 256.
What kind of garbage machine is this, Adam?
Okay, so I gotta be less.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least 24.
Okay. We're downgrading for you, Etobed.
Ooh, still too high.
Tuned. Oh wait, there's another way.
He loads another virtual box into the virtual
Within
box.
it, yeah.
You can keep going further and further back until this computer just becomes a oxen pulling a plow.
Do we leave Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this level, or does he come with us to the next one?
No, he stays. He's the one who has to end task here when we end task.
You all hit Alt F4 when you hear the Windows chimes.
There, I fixed it.
Did you?
You are an archaeologist exploring in New Dig. Just missed.
You wish.
Ah!
Wiki wow. Wait, why am I wearing a suit?
Bum, 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 bum.
There
we go.
It's too dark to
Jared,
see.
what are you doing, Waz? Come on. Turn to
Give
yourself.
light.
Forward, there's
Oh,
forward.
there it is. Wait.
Uh-oh, this is the wrong combination. Thanks for Adam.
That changes.
Okay,
Randomly.
The sun hits the moon blocks the...
that's how it works.
It seems random. I don't...
Seems random to you. That's because you're just a guy who fell down a hole in a cave.
Okay. Tell me I can't quit.
All right.
Minimize
Fuck
it.
your 256 colors. Oh,
We
boy.
can be done with this disc. We have other
sure?
discs. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have fun playing that last
No.
game? Okay, well then take it out.
This disc is 25 years old.
Yes, well.
It's gonna crumble.
Oh my god, it wanted to go!
Oh wow!
It wanted to go.
All
The
right.
beautiful thing about discs is they're like human beings. They're easily replaceable.
Yeah, that just could run in a car.
Let's go with this guy right here.
Go for it.
We have ourselves one of my favorite tycoons, Mall Tycoon.
Wow. So other than Roller Coaster Tycoon, I've never really gotten into the tycoon scene.
There was a game called Theme Hospital that I loved the
Oh, yeah.
crap out of. That was very similar. All
I
right.
think we have to go.
Do we have to go back in time? Let's go inside. Just dig around inside.
Was poking in that gut.
I want to feel those guts.
Ooh,
There it goes.
Okay. Wait, so we installed it didn't work.
Yeah, maybe because.
You're on 16
I-
bits.
There's your problem.
No, we just double our bits.
God damn it.
So it doesn't work, huh?
Sorry about Mall Tycoon.
Man, we were so excited to build the perfect mall.
Crushed.
Shit.
Sorry.
You should save that. You should try to get that working.
Okay.
All right, we'll
Another,
save this.
another time.
Okay.
There it is, back into the safety folder.
There we go.
Jack,
Oh God!
Rick Moranis is back for a new Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
What?
Yes, I had to tell you. He's back to Shrunk the Kids again, Jack. You guys didn't know.
Back to the server.
I did that. I saved that for you. I gave you Aragorn / Strider.
I'll kill you!
Part social experiment,
Touch plane. Someone touch plane.
part game show, part torture chamber. This is Last Laugh.
I'm so naughty, naughty, you're so naughty, naughty, I want to dance. I'm so pretty, pretty, you're so cutie, cutie, I want to dance. I want to dance.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. It's okay.
What are your kids eating this summer? The summer food program.
We spend $20 billion a year in the United States on physical health and fitness, that kind of thing. But for some reason, putting that kind of effort towards your mental health is still weirdly stigmatized. Which doesn't really make sense when you think about it, because your mental health affects far more people than your physical health does. Your physical health doesn't affect anybody unless you get to a point where you need help getting around. But your mental health literally affects everybody around you. Not just in the present, but in the future as well. It affects generations down the road. Whatever issues you may have, you can usually track to your mother. And whatever issues she has, you can usually track back to your grandmother, and so on and so forth. These things carry down for hundreds of years. So the fact that we stigmatize mental health issues, it's a real problem. We need to be more willing to talk about these kinds of things. I was just thinking about that the other day, and as I was thinking about it, I realized that I myself have dealt with issues in this area, and I've never talked about it on this channel. So maybe I'm part of the problem. So here goes. When I was at VidCon, I did an interview with Miranda the Adventurer. It's another YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below to the video. But we were just talking about issues of positivity mostly. But then this subject came up, and I talked about it a little bit, and I realized that this is something I really do need to discuss on this channel. But basically, I am somebody who has struggled with panic and anxiety issues in the past. When I was in middle school, it hit me pretty hard. I would have these just overwhelming sense of doom. I felt like the world was going to end. I actually missed school over it because I literally made myself sick with worry and anxiety. Eventually this passed, and I just chalked it up to, going through puberty. But then it happened again in my early 20s. I went through a really weird existential crisis, I suppose. I became obsessed with the idea of death. It just took over my mind for a while, and I remember working in the store, and just everybody that I saw, all the strangers walking through the store, the customers, my coworkers, everybody that I saw, the only thought that I had in my head was, "You're gonna die someday." Like everybody was just somebody who hadn't died yet. And if that sounds dreary and awful, it was. And I just carried it with me everywhere I went for a few months, and then it eventually passed. I slowly got back to normal. And just like when I was in middle school, I chalked that up to puberty. When it happened in my early 20s, I just chalked it up to, about to graduate college and enter the real world. It was sort of a life transition thing. And ever since then, it was kind of just something that was in my past. It was just this thing that happened a couple of times. But then it happened again, not too long ago, just before I hit 40. Apparently, I don't handle transitioning to a new phase of life very well. But I have a pretty strong imagination, as you can imagine, and one night while I was in bed on the edge of sleep, for some reason my mind went to the moment of death and what happened, what that feels like. As I'm laying there in bed and I'm trying to make myself lose consciousness. I've talked before about how much I suck at sleeping. But I'm sitting there about to lose consciousness and wondering if this is what the experience of death is like. And so my mind just went there, and then it didn't quite ever leave. And that whole existential panic thing, it just came up all over again. Again, I just became completely obsessed with the thought that not only me, but everyone I know will die someday. It's like everything was a reminder of how temporary existence is. And you don't realize how much we reference death in life and pop culture and that kind of thing until you are in a place where every single mention of death or every single allusion to endings fills you with existential panic. Like, I was in the middle of watching Downton Abbey, and I couldn't even watch that anymore because I couldn't watch that show without thinking about how everybody who lived back then does not exist anymore. Like, I would lay in bed, and I could feel my heart beating. And instead of that feeling of my heartbeat being some kind of reminder that I'm alive, it was instead a reminder that that's all it would take for me to not exist anymore, is for that heart to just stop beating. Everything was a reminder that I was going to die someday. I would go and visit family and put on, you know, the most normal face that I thought I could, but inside I'm watching kids playing and all I can think is that kid's gonna die someday. It's like, just imagine that your brain is stuck in a place like 200 years in the future where you and everybody you know has died, everything that you have ever lived for, worked for, cared about is gone, and nothing ever that you did mattered. That's where I was. It was just this overwhelming feeling of pointlessness to everything. I was just consumed with the pointlessness of human existence. Fun. There's a restroom at work that's down in the basement. It's for the maintenance people. And it's this really crummy bathroom. Only one of the toilets actually works. I went down there multiple times to just go into a stall and cry. So that panic state lasted a few weeks, maybe not quite a month. But even when that finally went away, I still had this weight, this tightness in my chest. I always felt this tightness in my chest. And by the way, if you are in a panic state and an anxiety state, having pain in your chest doesn't exactly
Not great.
help. But I can't stress enough how much of a physical presence this was. This starts to sound kind of weird and woo-woo, but I remember I was driving into Dallas, and I was just about to downtown. I'm looking at the buildings all lit up. It was at night, and I'd been having this tightness in my chest for, a month and a half or so. But as I was driving home, I had this moment where, without me trying, it just lifted. And I can't express enough how much it was like a physical presence left my body. Now understand, I'm not trying to say that some kind of demon or spirit was in me and left my body. That's not what I'm saying at all. But the mental thing that was going on was creating a physical sense in me that when it lifted, it really did feel like something just flew out of my body. And the next thought that I had, honestly, has never quite left me. And that thought was, I had no idea how wonderful normal felt. So one thing I want to get across to anybody who hasn't dealt with this kind of thing, feeling normal is a gift. It's not something I'll ever take for granted again. In a weird way, I'm kind of glad that I went through that, because it did change my worldview. It did make me think about the bigger picture and how I fit into that. And that new worldview that I have has really come out in this channel. Astute viewers of the channel who have been following it for a really long time could probably point out early in 2015 when the tone of my videos changed a little bit, because that's when this was going on. In fact, probably no video more fully encapsulates what I was going through than the short video that I did called This Too Shall Pass. All of those issues and questions still were very heavy on my mind, and they were brought out in that particular video. So if you never dealt with anxiety or panic issues, just try to understand how lucky you are, and don't take it for granted. And try really hard not to judge people who do have these issues, because it's really something you can't possibly understand unless you've been there. And for those out there who do have chronic anxiety and panic issues, I want you to know how much respect I have for you. I couldn't imagine dealing with it my entire life, and I want you to know that I get it. I get how hard it is. If you are dealing with this kind of thing, getting out of bed and going to work in the morning is an act of sheer bravery. It saps every ounce of your energy. And to be able to power through that and go to work and raise a family and just try to be a productive and normal human being with all of that on top of you, it takes a level of strength that most people will never know. So, the point of this channel is I get asked questions a lot, and if any of you out there want to ask me what to do if you have this situation, I don't want to try to play psychologist. I can tell you what helped me, but I think I'm not the norm. I think people who normally have this have it on much grander and larger and longer scales than I did. All I can say is if you have access to a mental health professional, talk to them. Talk to a therapist. There are online options now that cost less money. They may not be as good as sitting in front of a therapist, but it's something. In lieu of a therapist, talk to your spouse. Talk to your girlfriend, boyfriend. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. I felt like every time I opened up to somebody and talked to them about it, it chipped away at it just a little bit each time. More than anything else, I wanted to connect with somebody. I wanted to share how I was feeling and get a mutual understanding of just life through that. And it helped out immensely. And it's made me since then so much more thankful for all of my relationships. Because in the end, that's all we have. We have this small amount of time that we've been given, and we have each other. That's it. You know, life may actually be a big pointless joke. So we might as well laugh at it. Anyway, that's something I've been putting off talking about for a really long time. I don't know if that actually helped anybody, but I really hope it did. I'm going to put some links down below to some resources to anybody who might be dealing with panic and anxiety issues that might help you out. Like I said, I'm not a psychologist, and I've only had a little bit of an exposure to this, so I'm not going to try to pretend like I'm an expert. I am not. But if you are dealing with this, I hope that you can find somebody to talk to. I hope that it's something that you can transcend and find something positive out of. And I want you to know how much I respect you. And I'm pulling for you, and I got your back. I think I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks a lot for watching. I wish the best for all of you. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves.
Here in Natrona County, we know how to get through difficult times.
Although our lives look different now, and there are a lot of unknowns.
Stop asking your constituents to start
In 2010,
telling
there
them.
was a surge of shark
that what
attacks off the coast of
Republicans are all
Egypt,
up
and it
on?
was starting to affect tourism, so the government was under a lot of pressure to come up with an answer. While this was happening on a popular talk show, a diver mentioned that he had found electronic devices attached to some of the sharks, and came up with the obvious conclusion. The sharks were being remotely controlled by Israeli intelligence. The conspiracy went viral, even leading a top government official to say, "It's not out of the question, but needs time to confirm." There were literally millions of people who believed that this guy worked for Israeli intelligence.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
This was finally put to bed when an Egyptian marine biologist confirmed the obvious, which is that these were just GPS tracking devices that they were using to track the movement of the sharks. And the surge of the attacks was traced to excessive dumping of sheep carcasses in the ocean nearby. At least that's what the government wants you to believe. Sheeple. James Manning suggested you should do a video about conspiracy theories. I'm going to start this off with a little experiment. I'm going to list 10 popular conspiracy theories, and I just want you to keep track of how many of these you personally believe in. Here we go. The Roswell cover-up. Chemtrails. The government killed Kennedy. The pharmaceutical industry creates new diseases to sell more drugs. Fluoride in water for mind control. President Obama faked his birth certificate. Lizard people run the world's governments. The moon landings were faked. Global warming is a hoax. And 9/11 was an inside job carried out by the Bush administration. Got a number? Share it in the comments below. Every single one of those theories is believed by a sizable number of people. Yes, even the lizard people win. And studies show that if you believe in one of them, you're a lot more likely to believe in others as well. In fact, if your number is 5 or more, you might be what's considered a conspiracy-minded person. And you're not alone. Roughly 30% of the population is prone to conspiracy-mindedness, meaning that they see machinations behind a lot of things that are going on in the world. And conspiracy theories cross all boundaries. People of all political persuasions, economic status, sex, race, you name it. Education makes a little bit of difference, like 46% of high school dropouts believe as opposed to like 23% of college graduates. But still, that's a quarter of college graduates believe in conspiracy theories. This is not a small percentage of the population. So what's going on with that? What causes some people to believe conspiracy theories and see them where others don't? A typical conspiracy theory has 4 parts to it. A group acting in secret to alter institutions, usurp power, hide truth, or gain utility at the expense of the common good. And a lot of that just comes down to trust. Often in politics, people all want the same thing, they just trust different institutions. Like liberals are more prone to trust the government, whereas conservatives are more prone to trust private businesses. But conspiracists distrust the mainstream. The accepted truth that the rest of the world has come to believe is something that a conspiracist would say is propaganda being believed by people who have been led astray, hence the sheeple slur. But it's also a function of anxiety and loss of control. Researchers found that inducing anxiety in respondents led them to see patterns where they didn't really exist and to be more conspiratorial in their explanations of things. People experiencing anxieties in their life, like job insecurity, tend to be more conspiratorial in their thinking. You might have noticed that every single major world disaster has at least one conspiracy theory attached to it. This isn't to say that there aren't conspiracies, there most assuredly are, but that doesn't mean that everything is a conspiracy. Even natural disasters like earthquakes prompt people to embrace conspiratorial ideas. I really feel like people are drawn to conspiracies because in a only the brain could be this paradoxical kind of way, it actually makes them feel safer. The idea that someone is in control, even if that person has evil intentions, is actually a comforting idea. Because the idea that the world is chaotic and random and nobody is in control is a lot scarier. That's how our brains work. It's constantly searching for comfort and safety, and that's also how addictions can form. Being able to point at somebody else as the cause of our problems, to be able to look at all the problems of the world and say it's that guy's fault, somebody that you can direct all your ire onto. And the release of the anxiety feels good. So we keep thinking that way. This is especially easy because the natural flow of the world in nature and in the systems that we develop in our society tend to coagulate toward things that look like conspiracies. For example, in economic systems, we have these individual entities, companies and corporations and the like, and they are designed to do one thing: make money. That's it. That's all they're meant to do. If they were a computer program, that would be their one function: make more money. And there are no extra points for going it alone. If it makes more economic sense, if you would make more money by colluding with another company, even if that company is a competitor, then that's what you do. There's no master plan, there's no smoke-filled rooms, it's just each entity doing the thing that they are designed to do. They just happen. They're shaped by the invisible hand of the free market, if you will. You could say that that's the difference between a conspiracy and collusion. But so what? Is this a problem? Is there any problem with believing in conspiracies? No, not really. But just like everything else in our lives, we have to have some self-awareness behind it. We have to understand that we have this cognitive bias of believing that there's something in the background pulling the strings. Because that kind of thinking, if left unchecked, can lead to something far more dangerous: paranoia. It can lead you to go through life believing that there are forces working against you around every corner and everything that's going on with you. And paranoia can lead to some really bad things. Conspiracy-minded people are actually sometimes a lot smarter than other people. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. And the smarter you are, the more likely you are to find patterns where maybe other people don't. But intelligence and mental health are not the same thing. There truly is a fine line between genius and madness. So if you are somebody that's more conspiracy-minded than other people are, this isn't an attack on you. There's nothing wrong with you. In fact, you may be a little bit smarter than the rest of us. But I would ask that you point that healthy skepticism inward from time to time. Examine your thoughts. Doubt your assumptions. Don't assume just because something feels right that it is right. And remember that the world is chaotic and random, and sometimes things just happen. You might find that the real conspiracy is taking place inside your own head. So tell me what conspiracy theories you believe. Let's talk about it down in the comments. Please, living room rules, people. Let's be nice. Thanks to all of you for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs up anyway. If this is your first time here, I hope... This video is supported by Brilliant.org. In the 1950s, a controversial social experiment took place where a psychologist named Muzaffar Sharif took a bunch of preteen boys, divided them